we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is back again, and that means it's time for another live recording of the Auburn, not the Auburn Experience podcast, Auburn Family Night. We're happy to be back with you guys here. This is the show where you all take center stage. We got so much to talk about, so let's get into it. The fullness of the Auburn experience through your perspective, your eyes, your comments, and questions. All that coming up right now. War Eagle, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about and share the Auburn experience. The Auburn experience to us is all about a few things. Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. You guys know the drill. It's what we do here, the Auburn experience. On Auburn Family Night, this is our weekly show where you, the Auburn family, get to pick the topics, get to pick where we go. That is unless that you guys decide to remain quiet, which you very rarely do. And then I am left to my own devices. But regardless of that, we will talk about the fullness of the Auburn experience on the show tonight. Our live call-in show, which will be available in just a little bit, brought to you by our friends at barnersupply.com. As you see me wearing some of their gear, their logo down there in the bottom right. Make sure you support barnersupply.com. We've got links in the particular post for these on social media. We've got it in our description. We hope that you'll support such a great Auburn company and support us vicariously as well. As an affiliate of theirs, they've got great hats, great koozies, stickers, Velcro clips, all kinds of other things to help you barn out and barn hard as the Auburn fan and the Auburn family that you are. Okay, so the drill here is tonight, you all get to pick where we go. Most of you do know that drill, but if you're brand new to us, this is really a show that's about you. Go ahead and let us know that you're here by just saying hello, War Eagle. Anybody is fair game to hang out with us this evening as well. The phone lines are open now for you to take it full advantage of, so don't be shy. This is one of those nights where I probably could use a little bit of the extra perspective tonight. So if there's anybody who hasn't tried it, I'm sure we'll hear from some of our regulars. I hope we'll hear from Thomas. Thomas, I think, is having a rough time with the offensive line, as we all are. But please do take advantage of that. It is there for you to utilize tonight. And thanks for spending that with us this evening. The lighting in the background looks amazing. Well, I appreciate that. I'm happy with it. I think there's some things about it that I'd like to do a little bit different. I have some plans for this area over here in the future. Maybe this will go over here as well, or that another version of that. So I appreciate that feedback, Rodney. I'm always a little bit self-conscious of things I want to do differently, things I want to change. So I'm glad that it comes through over on y'all's end, that you find some value in it. Thomas is here. What's going on? The WT as well. Sorry, we're not as excited for WT. I'm kidding. You give us crap, WT, so I'm going to give you the crap right back. Thomas says, War Eagle, y'all, sweet home, his zip code. Hope you're okay there, buddy. It's been a rough one. Hang in there. Hang in there. That's all I can say at this point in this juncture. Let's see. Let's hope the crowd is better than Monday. Me, Auburn fan. Listen, I don't mind those guys coming in. They are great, different perspectives. They have certainly paid their dues to be here and be part of our regular audience. They contribute some good humor and good faith things. So I don't mind hearing from them from time to time. Micah, if you're there, he loves to stir the pot, so to speak. But overall, he's been pretty good. And we did have to do the Monday show, which should have been the Sunday show, a little bit differently because it was, it was a little bit difficult with Austin coming down sick earlier. All right, we got our first question about Auburn things. You guys can drop those in throughout the chat tonight. So this is something that keeps coming through here, and he says, does Freeze need to stop calling plays and let the OC do his job? So first of all, I think a lot of people are making assumptions about what is actually happening. Nobody actually knows what's happening except for those that are out there. So if you're making assumptions about this person's calling too many plays, or this person's or the coach is overriding the OC, or the OC is doing all the damage, you're probably very misinformed. We went through this during the off season, where there was a ton of obsession and speculation about this decision tree that happens on every single football team. And it's really no different than that. So I think there's just to your point, Stan, this is a question that's being asked a lot, or some version of this question. I think people are making their own assumptions about what they think the problem is, when we're actually not thinking that as well. And I know you say you're going off what Hugh Freeze says, and I listened to him today as well. And he has full override as the head coach. And I actually, if I'm being honest, I read into his comments that maybe some decisions to run the ball that he would prefer weren't being made when he was giving the reins to do that. So I think as fans, we tend to just try to question everything, and that's fair. But I think there's a lot of unnecessary panic and craziness this week, and just let them figure it out. It'll all work itself out in time, and we'll figure it out there. Oh, you were not complaining about Mike and OU? I was complaining it was only 3 people here, and only one was AU fan. Well, thanks for reminding people that nobody watches this show, WT. No, listen, it was a different time, so I know that we had actually, by the numbers that I saw on the thing, I think it's something that's important to remember is just the numbers that you're seeing isn't the only people that are watching. So we get the actual numbers in and things like that, but I thought you were making fun of Micah, and JD, I believe is his name, the OU fan, who's, excuse me, been hanging out with us a lot, and pretty good spirited guys for the most part. I disagree with them on a lot of things, but it's particularly the teams they choose to support. It's a lot of Crimson people that like Crimson. I can't deal with that. I can't abide with that. It's just weird. All right, so there's a bunch of different things that we can talk about today on this show, and we'd love for you to pick some variety of topics out there. It doesn't mean that we can't focus on the big things, such as we've already talked about, play calling and things like that, but there is always plenty to talk about in the Auburn experience. Some news today about the first pro day for Coach Stephen Pearl. Some good news in that regard of Tahad and Keyshawn Hall, who most people thought were the 2 most likely candidates. The 2 candidates that people were afraid to lose, deciding to stay. They addressed the team apparently and said, we're not going anywhere. And I think that speaks to the level of security the 2 of them have, obviously in the NIL space, but also in they like what this team is going to be about. And so I really like that. I really like to see that. Stan, I don't really know who will be the Arkansas head coach. I don't really spend any time worrying about things outside of Auburn. I would imagine it'll be somebody for the next 3-4 years, and then they'll make the switch again, which is what we're trying to avoid Auburn doing here right now. All right, we'll get to our first caller here in just a little bit. Let's catch up on a few more things here. Offensive line, this is from Rodney, says, needs to figure out how to block, when to block something. It's got to change. They look lost out there. They certainly did in the last game. There is no shying away from that in any situation. Coaches haven't shied away from it. And I haven't watched in fullness some of the post-game interviews. I'm sure some happened with the offensive linemen, and I'm sure they reflect that as well. I think everybody believes it's just as easy as us saying, do this and do that, and everything gets fixed. And I don't really think it is. If it was that simple, it would have already been fixed for about 5 or 6 years now. We got a lot of things going on that I think just aren't meshing well when you play super quality opponents, right? Which obviously Georgia will be coming up here in 2 weeks, and we're going to be, regardless of what you think about the team, if you can't get excited about that Georgia matchup coming up, I can't help you as an Auburn fan. If you're worried about the team and stuff, can't help get you excited about Georgia and everything that's going to be transpiring in that game. I could not be more jazzed up, jammed up, jelly tight. I love everything about what's going to be happening that weekend. All right. Real quick, let me remind you of our friends, as always, at barnersupply.com. Got one of their gear items on right now that you should check out at barnersupply.com. They've got some cool things like other apparel and gear you can get. This little Velcro patch that you can put anywhere. It's the Rising Barn thing there, just like the logo down there. Pretty good Velcro patch that you can put anywhere. We'll have some other things that we show throughout the stream, some of their other cool designs and products that they have. This is a trucker hat, if you're wondering. It doesn't really show with the blue trucker style on it, but yeah, it's going to be it's a great plethora of products there for you to take advantage of. Okay, getting back into it. Thomas says, are you going to kick me off if I need a cigarette during my call? I would prefer that we do not smoke on the call. That would be my preference. I can't force you not to. But I would ask that you not put me in the position to have to, do that. I know that's a little bit of a tongue in cheek there, but I also know that's probably because that's how stressful this week has been for you, buddy. I've been thinking a lot about you, Thomas. JD, what's up? Your ears must be burning. We were talking about you a little while ago, so welcome into the chat. All right, we're going to get ready for our first call here. He's been waiting very patiently, about 10 minutes into the show. What's going on, Mr. Kevin? I caught you off guard there. Got you. You're frozen on me. What we got there?
See, that's my Auburn book bag.
Auburn book bag. That's pretty sweet. I don't have one of those, so thanks for making me jealous of yet another thing that I don't need, but I want. That's Auburn stuff.
And you think we call different plays against Georgia and it will work?
Your guess is as good as mine, buddy. Definitely got to do something different, right?
I've been calling plays at my high school. That's how come we're 5-0.
Well, you know what? We might need to figure out a way to get your resume slid onto the desk there at the athletic department and see if we can figure out how to get you figured it out there. Can I take a guess of what your play is going to look like? Throw it to Cam Coleman. That's what your play is going to look like, right?
Have two people in the backfield.
Uh-huh.
And hand it off to Eric Singleton, and let him throw it to Cam Coleman touchdown.
I had a feeling,
first play of the Georgia game.
Yeah. You see, I pinpointed it right there. You had a long way to get there. I know Kevin, and Kevin's going to get it to Cam Coleman. So I don't disagree with you. Hey, man, get him the ball. I think we need to run the ball a little bit more. I think all of those things are pretty obvious. And, this is one of those times where after such a bad performance and you have 2 weeks to prepare, doesn't matter the quality of the opponent. You need to come out and look crisp. You need to come look prepared. One of the biggest issues that I have, Kevin, is that 4 out of the 5 games, I believe I'm correct on this, we had a sack on the opening drive. If that happens again on the opening drive at home, that's not a good sign, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that it's not going to get better throughout the game, because that's happened before. It has gotten better against a quality opponent in Baylor.
What time is Tiger Walk?
They have not picked the game time specifically yet. They told us it was going to be a night game, but it could be 6, 6:30, 6:45, I think is the 3 different times that it could be. So unless I missed it, they have not announced it yet. So we don't even know Tiger Walk time yet.
Hopefully I come down there that weekend.
I know you keep teasing me with this, and I'm starting to feel like the offensive line here. I can't trust you. I got to see you at some point,
Hey, who's that guy who have penalties on him? Why is Freeze letting him play?
Well, that doesn't really narrow it down, unfortunately. Could you give me a little bit more specifics? There were a lot of guys that had penalties on them, a lot of them on the offensive line. Is it on the offensive line?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you're probably thinking Xavier Chaplin.
Xavier Chaplin, yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of, shots of him getting reprimanded by not just but his main coach, obviously the offensive line coach, and threatened to pull him out and stuff like that. I think it's always important to remember that, yeah, you can pull the guys out, especially sometimes it's warranted, but you have to then play the people that are behind them. And if they weren't good enough to beat those people out, are you really doing are you doing a disservice to the team at that point? We don't know that, right? They need to get an opportunity maybe and some more looks. And I believe that they are this week based off of that body of work. But I think it's important to always remember it's never as simple as fans think it is to fix something. We're sitting back on our couches. We're sitting in our stands back there having the full bird's eye view at the exact moment. And we think we can figure it all out. And it's very, very rarely the case. If it was, everybody would be putting their resumes in today to sign up and be the head coach.
I think that it's our year to beat Georgia.
I hope so. That would, if Auburn were able to beat Georgia,
with a trick play,
with a trick play to Cam Coleman, right?
Perry Thompson.
Okay, we're gonna switch it up. Go to Perry Thompson. I knew that was gonna be our next one there. That would be a big way to cap off and kind of send all this turmoil that the fan base is in right now into a different
it could be a tip pass, just like when Nick Marshall was throwing the pass.
It could be. I don't know that I want to count on that happening 3 times, because if you remember, I think it was Jeremy Johnson or was it
Seth Williams?
Jason Smith is the one that caught it.
Jason Smith.
The other one against Bama several years later that worked. I mean, we didn't end up winning the game, so it gets kind of forgotten and all that. But it was another one of those tip pass situations. He carries it into the end zone, and everybody's like, "Ah!" And then it didn't get better. So I'm going to say we probably don't need to count on that happening. I'd much rather us take control at home, as you should be able to do.
After halftime, we will take care of the ball.
Well, we've done a pretty good job, Kevin, of taking care of the ball. Knock on wood, as of this moment.
Our defense need a A+.
Well, yeah. You're not going to hear really any complaints from me about the defense this week. I think the one critique that you can have is that they gave up 400 and almost 15 yards, I think is what it was. So that's a lot of yardage even at home, but they still managed to keep it under control. And people want to say, well, hey, that's because they had so many penalties. Well, why do you think usually just don't have penalties just playing your set, like playing against yourself, right? Usually. You hope not. So that's the defense that's causing those things because of what they're having to adjust to. They're getting worried that they're not going to catch the rush coming in, all that kind of stuff. So
is everybody excited for the new head coach for basketball?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I am jammed up, jelly tight over here. That's my favorite.
Pettiford.
He's staying. When are you going to get we need you to get a basketball jersey. So I need to see you in a Tahad Pettiford jersey.
Which number is he?
I think he's 0, if I'm not mistaken, which hurts me because that's my old Horace Spencer number right there. And I love old Agent 0.
Horace Spencer.
Yeah. You remember him?
When did he play?
Oh, he was only about 4 seasons ago, something like that.
4 seasons. Did he play with Jared Hopper?
I think they crossed over. I could be wrong on that, though, but I'll have to go back and look. All right. So what's the one thing to close out our time? What's the one thing that you want the offense to work on this week specifically?
The option.
The option. Okay. Well, listen, hey, at this point, anything probably needs to be tried, so I won't say no to that. But we'll see what they get into this week, and we'll get a little bit more information next week. It's always good to hear from you, buddy. Yeah, we appreciate you calling.
Hey, guess what I'm supposed to be doing on Friday around 2:30?
I'm gonna guess that has something to do with football.
No, I'm speaking at the Fairview Aggies pepper rally
Oh, well, there you go.
and tell them I played at Fairview High School 1991 through 94.
Well, there you go. See,
And
that's close enough.
we had a legendary coach, but last June, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But that's a cool opportunity for you to get to do that. So that's pretty cool right there. But it was related to football. We made it back there.
Yeah. I'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right. We'll look forward to it, my man. Thanks for calling in as always. Okay.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. Great to hear from Kevin. At some point, one of y'all's got to beat Kevin in here. It's happened a couple times, which has shocked me. But at some point, one of y'all has got to be able to take the reins there and jump in and beat him. He is very dedicated and very loyal. And we very much appreciate that from him. All right, real quick, while we wait to see if there's any other calls that want to come in, and also we'll gather up some of your questions here to start rolling through our comments. We want to continue to talk about our friends almost said the wrong thing. At barnersupply.com. I've got one of their hats on right there with their original Barner logo, and they're always toying with things. So they got new things coming out all the time. You've already seen me wear this a bunch. This is a different trucker style hat. Again, I know I'm obsessive about the trucker style hats, but don't hate me. But there is the classic Barn A WT. I'm going to go ahead and take it away from you. WT believes there should be the silos to make the AU on the side. When Matt was here in the chat, he did seem to respond to that, but he is a busy man, even outside of what he does there. But barnersupply.com, check them out. They sponsor Auburn Family Nights for us during football season, and we're very proud to be partnering with them. Our links are in the profile. Go check it out, shop around. As long as you go through that link, you support us and support them, especially if you make a purchase over there. All right, let's see what we got going on. Let's see what we got. Rodney says, Kyle, I'm going to find that book and show you where I'm getting all this information. I'm not sure what you were referring to on this one, Rodney, but I'm assuming it has something to do with, like, I think we were talking about some of the Auburn books in here. I would give a shout out. I forget who the author is, but I see him posting about some things. There's that book, I think it's like the stories, Auburn street names and the stories behind them. That's a really cool thing that I want to get someday and kind of go through and pick through. We might even have him on at some point to talk about that. But if you've never like heard about that, I've seen it at J&M. I don't know that you can get it on any like major bookstores or anything. I could be wrong in that. Maybe it's like just specific ones, but I have seen it like when you're on campus, I think at the bookstore, J&M, some of the other places like that. So check that out if you're ever interested in just doing some unique Auburn stuff. I'm sure there's some football knowledge in there as well related to those street names. Well, we know that some people from football are named for those streets. Let's see. Stan says, before the season, we were told Auburn has 6 NFL grade O-lines. So is it coaching? I think once again, Stan, I know I feel like I'm pushing back on you a lot, and I think it's you probably reached into a point here, and a lot of fans are, so it's not just you, of being a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit cynicism right now. They could have had it wrong. I think it's a little bit presumptuous to assume just because some NFL scouts told you it's kind of the same thing. Someone told you they were 5 stars. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come to fruition. It also could have just been a really bad set. And, I want to point this out too. Do I think it's a high level that the switch is going to flip in a week and a half here and the offensive line are just going to have it all together and like look perfect the rest of the season? Probably not. I think they can improve and maybe by the end of the season look like NFL graded guys, like, so I think we just need to kind of park the brakes a little bit on all of the over questioning and things like that. Like the questions have already been asked and things like that. And I know we're sitting here in the middle of a bye week. I know we're frustrated. I get all that. I promise you, I feel the same frustrations as you. I think we just need to kind of everybody take a breather and let them see what they can do coming out of the bye week. This is from Small Time Republic. It was a little bit earlier. It's odd having our first Power 4 home game on October 11th. Yeah, it's a lot better, though, than having 5 straight home games in the dead heat of September, which it wasn't too bad this year, so maybe this was the year to do it. I do not like that they send us on the road 2 times in a row to those type of opponents to start off the year. I think it shows. but it's a little weird, but it kind of makes it special that this game you're going to have probably the mildest weather you've had so far. I think it hasn't gone up too much. So I'm excited about it. I would definitely schedule things just a little bit different though, you know? Let's see here. Did the freshman center start again? Well, he never started. He came in for our center. No, I believe Connor Liu was playing the majority of that game. I'm sure he had to, help him for a spell, although they weren't on the field that long, so maybe not, right? Let's see here. We just went through 2 top 10 teams on the road, and both games are within 1 score. It's not as bad as it appears. We can come back from this. Yeah, and I think it's you and I'm sure you all saw, or some at least saw, the clip that we shared from the podcast this week about, context versus drama of where we are as fans trying to process all this. And I think the point that WT is making is correct. It is important to talk about context because it helps level some of the over emotional reactions to this. But I think it's also important to play both sides of that discussion. That doesn't excuse how bad they looked versus Oklahoma. Like that's inexcusable. And I think I even said this on the post game show that can't happen again. Cannot happen again. Absolutely cannot happen again. So it's a balance, right? It is that there were 2 at the time. One was a top 15 team, now a top 10 team. The other was a top 10 team at the time. It is partially that, but it is partially they did not play. To say they did not play well is probably doing it a disservice. That's the bare minimum of what should be said about that. All right, we got our next caller ready to go here, so let's pop him in. Let's take him to school. He is alive. What's going on, sir? I thought for sure Thomas Manville had burst into flames and was never to be seen again after the last 2 weeks.
It was
Thomas, I'm gonna be honest with you. When that first sack happened on that drive versus Texas A&M, I said, I don't think I'll ever see Thomas again. I don't think he can stand to talk about it one more time. Because I mean, we have seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think every game but one, there's been a sack on the first drive of the game, and keep in mind, some of those are opponents that you probably shouldn't be giving up sacks to.
all right. Deep breath.
Hey, listen, if you want to get that cigarette, just go like off the side.
Don't worry. I got my cherry Kool-Aid. I'm good.
Hey, the funny thing, I see you got your box fan next to you. The funny thing is, if you lean against that, you start smoking one over there, it'll like come back in the screen. So, anyway, sorry.
And let me tell you what I think. No, we're not going to do that.
Oh, man.
Okay, so 20 sacks.
Don't say it again, please.
Let me pronounce it. 20 sacks. What are we doing? What are we doing? Our offensive production is past dumpster fire. It's been put out, scraped up, and thrown in another dumpster. It's ridiculous. I have always championed Hugh Freeze on this channel and any channel I've ever been on. He said 2025. Okay, sure, we played 2 great opponents. Had every opportunity to take a lead, to make an offensive drive of any kind, and didn't do it.
Hey, can I give you another stat? 0 of 13 on 3rd down. How's that feel?
It hurts. It hurts my insides, Kyle. It hurts my insides, and I'm tired of waiting. We haven't played great in a single game this season. We've won some games. We've lost 2 close games. The offense has not played great in any of these 5 games.
I would disagree a little bit about the Baylor game, but I understand your point to the potential that they have. I understand your main point, though.
If you have consistent 4 and 5 star, and I know you're a stars don't matter guy, but
yeah.
Let me put it this way.
Sure.
If you got this level of talent
accrued over 3 years, accrued
over this amount of time, why is it not working? The only thing I can think of is you're not putting the talent in the position they need to be in to show their talent. There's been flashes, but there's no complete game. There's nothing that I've seen so far that says every unit's where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see it right now. And yes, I'm fired up. I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm waiting to go eat fried chicken, mashed taters, and mushroom gravy that I made. But this season is not going. It's not going the way that we were told it could go. Now there's a lot of time left. I get it. There's other games to be played, but I don't see the growth in the play call, and that bothers me to no end. That I don't see this growth that we've waited for. Is it an antiquated system that you're still trying to run? Is it stubbornness that you don't want to change things up? Are you opposed to the I formation on 3rd and 2? Jeremiah Cobb falls forward. Damari Alston typically will fall forward.
I think he rolls and spins forward. That man's a bowling ball.
I'm fine with that. Just give me 2 yards in a cloud of dust. I don't even need the proverbial 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Give me 2 yards in a cloud of dust. You've got to, if you don't want to get sacked all the time, you've got to beat up the defensive line. So why are we not beating them up? Why are we not going in there and putting a hat on a hat? And, who cares if it's 1st and 10 and we only get 2 yards? Whoop somebody. Why are we dancing around and throwing? All right, I need a Kool-Aid break.
No, you're good. Let me, while you take a sip, let me ask this question. Remove, and I know, listen, I'm a context guy here, so I know we got to talk about all things together, but let's try to remove for this question what has happened previously in other games. Was there anything that you saw from that offensive line versus Texas A&M that made you believe that they could run block as bad as they were pass blocking?
I don't want to admit it, but no, I think their steps were bad. I think the blocking scheme overall is bad.
Probably a problem. Yep.
I'm not going to try to put all of this on one person or one group. Overall, our offense has a problem. Our offense has a sickness, and I don't think it's effort. I think it's scheme overall. I think that there's been a couple of blocks this year I've watched over and over again, and I'm watching somebody reach without their feet going with them, and that drives me crazy.
And that loses your leverage.
If you don't have a base, you got nothing.
Yeah.
So if you're reaching to block somebody and your feet ain't moving, there's a problem. Or if you've got to take an extra long step, your center of gravity's off, and you can't make that block. So there's, I could talk for an hour and a half, and I'm not going to because I love y'all. But it's ridiculous that the small fundamentals ain't there.
Can we let's talk about Xavier Chapman? I know we don't want to make this about necessarily one person, but unfortunately, he is the glaring example of the game, right? And let's be frank about it. And he would probably say the exact same thing as here. We're not going to sit here and hate on the dude. The dude got a lot of attention, and this kind of a couple things I've said at 1,000 different places. This is why I stress so hard to not build up expectations until you actually see them, because what happens for fans is when they don't see these things, they've never thought through, well, could it be they're in the right system? Could it be they're not prepared to play in the SEC level type of crowds that maybe they didn't see in the ACC? ACC's power football, but come on. Look, there's Clemson, there's Florida State. Who else? I know they're not, Clemson's not doing well this year, but I'm talking about crowd level, noise, all that stuff, because it seemed like Xavier was having a hard time getting the adjustments or getting the right call in or something. I don't know. It seemed like it was a communication issue with him, frankly. Do you agree with that, or were you seeing something different?
No, I agree with pretty much everything you're saying. And again, it goes back to fundamentals. These are things you're taught in park ball. Of, most park ball guys are running a 3-point stance. They're not a tackle out on the edge set up, but at least cut your eyes in and look at the ball. When the ball moves, it's time to move. He's consistently staring at his opponent and missing the opportunity and he goes, "Oh, that guy flinched a little bit, and he's jumping out of his stance." And that's so frustrating. I mean, look, dude, he's 3 feet away. Just cut your eyes at the dadgum football. When it moves, cut him this far back, and oh no, he hasn't gone anywhere because now the ball's moved and you know it's time to go. But if you're looking at somebody else and basing your reaction off their reaction, because we've got a clap, then the ball gets snapped. When he hears that clap, he's going.
Yeah,
and it's causing a lot of problems for us.
I mean, I agree that drastic things need to happen. I think that's not limited to people maybe getting some more opportunities on the offensive line, but I also have to recognize, and I think it's important for us all to recognize that those guys won the starting job for a reason, and so it could just get worse after that. So I'm not a big change out personnel unless it's absolutely necessary. And maybe it is. Maybe we've reached that point. And I think it's also incumbent upon a player as well to recognize, if you're a team first guy, hey, right now I'm not getting the job done. I still want to play. I still want my reps, but maybe this guy gets the start right now. And I think you've seen that modeled in Isaiah Miller, who's been able to be utilized everywhere. He doesn't have a starting position, right? Well, coming into the season, didn't have a starting position, but he's coming in. So I think, he's probably your example of a guy that's been a team first. And I'm not saying Xavier, anybody isn't, but just trying to digest all of this. Like what's not working? Like, what are these small tangible things that could happen? The coaches are going to figure that out, or they're either going to figure it out or they're going to be fired. Right. Like that's just how it goes. If it continues down that track. But it ain't working in that last game. I don't even know where to go with this. Is there anything other than offensive line gripes? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Well, last point on the offensive line.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I didn't wanted you to make sure you had time for anything else. I'm focusing on that too.
As bad as our tackle play has been, I do believe that Arnold holds the ball a little bit too long.
Yeah. Coach just said that.
And I'm not telling you anything you haven't seen or anything you don't know. If you hold the ball too long and your tackles are too deep, that opens up a very large gap on either side of both tackles. Now, there's a certain depth that you want to be at and be able to block to create a pocket. But if your tackles are almost behind you, then that defensive player has the opportunity to go either direction he can. It's water, path of least resistance, to get to the quarterback because he's in a perfect spot and Arnold can't see it. There's just so many things that are going wrong on the offense to really, pinpoint what's the exact problem. Mm-hmm. There's just so many different things wrong with it, and we're all frustrated. But if we could clean up two things, we would have won at least one more game. Mm-hmm. And that is the pass blocking and the run blocking. We can add quarterback stuff in later, but if we can clean up two very fundamental things about the game of football that you have to win, just those small things, those very small things, I believe we would have won either the Oklahoma game or the A&M game. Because you're not going to win games taking 20 sacks. You're not going to win games with less than 250 yards passing, less than 150 yards rushing, and single-digit carries for your running backs. You're not going to win games in the SEC.
Yeah,
you can't. You literally cannot do it. So my main gripe right now, play calling. Mm-hmm. My secondary gripe, fundamentals. Yep. My third gripe, dadgummit, I don't want to lose.
Nobody does. But yes, it's getting frustrating. I think we all agree with this statement. It isn't the loss, it is the way we lost. And this last one particularly. You're mad you lost, right? Like it's a game that was within our grasp. Texas A&M did everything they could to not look like a top 10 team, to give us a shot at it, and still somehow we weren't out of reach of it. But it's the way. No third downs. The preview show, that's one of the categories. What was the third down percentage? Nobody got it right. How could you? What? Even if you are Ball State coming into Auburn, you expect to get 1 first down. Like, or not, excuse me, 1 third down. But yes, 1 first down too. But you expect to get something's gonna go your way. Nothing went our way in that particular thing. Anything else that you want to discuss? Football, whatever. I know we spent a lot of time on that.
I'm excited that Stephen Pearl's going to be our next basketball coach. I don't think I'm excited about it. Just me as an Auburn fan.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have anything to be excited about yet because it's a brand new team, brand new coach. But I'm still very excited about it. As far as football goes, I really hope that we improve rapidly. I really want the whole coaching staff and team to work as hard as they possibly can.
Did you hear from the SEC teleconference today that I believe I didn't mishear him about the defensive staff, that they technically got their normal time off they have during the bye week. The offensive staff did not. He did say that clearly, that they did not take their time off. So, listen, I know it's a small victory, right? Like, I'm not trying to sit here, oh, good job, like that. But I think it's important when we're all in this space of frustration and stuff to acknowledge that attempts are being made. And even if the attempts are, just because you're making attempts doesn't mean that it's going to magically work. It doesn't mean that changes still don't need to be made down the line. But I think it's important for us to take those little things like that. The coaches are acknowledging this ain't good. We cannot go on break like we traditionally would. And the way I understood him on the SEC teleconference today, when I was listening in, it sounded like it was just an offensive practice, which I don't know how you do that with NCAA regulated, like maybe the defensive guys just went through some minor drills or something like that, but it sounded, the way it was spoken, like it was just offensive practice. And I think we all agree that's what needs to happen. So I don't know if that helps, but there's some evidence that it's not just a coaching staff wafting over this and saying, we'll figure it out. Well, you haven't done that yet, but we'll figure it out. They're actually making some efforts. So I don't know if that's helpful.
No, I like that. I think that the offensive staff needs to spend every waking minute of their time. Unpopular opinion, family be damned at this point, to make sure that this offense is ready to go. And want to address Dadgummit Gregory in the chat there with penalties. Absolutely. It's ridiculous. We should have this many penalties 8 games into the year.
Yep.
Not where we're at right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of those have been alleviated by, not running the ball out of kickoffs, but that's still a lot that are still there even without that. That's a whole nother subject that we probably don't need to get into tonight. That can be for next week's gripes.
I mean, look, rewind it back to the beginning. There's a whole lot wrong with Auburn football right now that I can see. There's a whole lot wrong, and I want to be wrong. I want to be so happy at the end of the season and people going, you were negative. Please please get your arrows ready. I want to be wrong.
I don't think you're being. I don't think if you have something negative to say about the performance against Texas. Well, Oklahoma in some ways too. Texas A&M. I have no problem with negative comments. I have a problem with destructive comments. Like that. That's not necessary. It doesn't do anything for you, for the fan base, for the team, or anything like that. But we should be able to openly talk about, hey, that was crap. 0 third downs was crap. 7 sacks this game, 10 the last game. That's crap. This can't happen again. And I don't know if I've said this anywhere openly, or at least more or directly. I get obviously put in this category a lot that I'm probably a little bit too patient, and that's probably true. I frankly would rather be that. But if I'm going to be honest, this is probably strike number 1 for me. Like, in terms of, if this kind of stuff were to happen again, it's going to be real hard for me to justify, pushing back on some of those narratives and stuff like that. Like, this was egregious, and coaches have said as much. Some of the players have said as much. But anyway, I went on a tangent there. It was just, I think it's important to talk about the reality of the situation while also remaining as much as you can be constructive.
I
So
mean,
you're good. You're good.
these last two losses were just as bad as New Mexico State.
I think that's fair.
We had opportunities,
I think
and
that's fair.
we did not seize them.
Yeah.
We had many opportunities to go out and win these last two games, and we had opportunities to win against New Mexico State a couple years ago when I sat all the way at the very top. But we're not getting it done.
It's got to happen
And
now.
that's infuriating. Now,
Yes.
if we lose to Georgia, am I mad? Yeah, I'm still mad. Am I surprised? No. If we come out, beat Missouri, and start on a win streak, will I be happy? You better believe it.
Mhm.
But I got to see it.
Yeah, we got, and even in a loss at Georgia, if that were to happen, which probably seems likely at this moment, you still have to show signs that this is heading in the right direction. Just like we said, it's more about the way we lost against Texas A&M than it is necessarily the loss. That is what has people so upset, and I think that is justified. The way that it was lost, how inept everything seemed, how it felt unprepared when you don't see the results out there. So anyway, anything else, sir?
Right now, I'm not happy with Auburn football, and I don't think it's going in the right direction. But I want to be wrong.
Love it.
War Eagle to everybody out there. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week. Hope you have a great October. Hope we have a great football season. I love y'all.
Yeah, I love you too, man. Thanks for calling. We missed you.
Yep. I'm going to my mall.
All right, man. All right. That was great to hear from Thomas. I spent a little extra time with Thomas because I've missed him so much. So thank you guys for allowing him to stay on a little bit. The lines are still open for anybody that wants to utilize them. So please take advantage of that. It's here for you. Alex says he's from Ukraine. Well, welcome. That's we don't really get that a whole lot. Stay safe over there. Appreciate everybody being here this evening. Let me get back to some of your commentary that's here in the chat and see what we've got going on. This was from Rhyming Lemon. Defense is finally getting a rest. They deserve it from carrying the offense so hard. I think we all agree with that one. We all can agree with that one. Let's see here. Roland thinks Stan with some great feedback for Thomas. I think we all enjoyed hearing from him and his perspectives as always, but especially since we've missed him so much. That was great. A lot to do there. WT says, I can be upset with the last two games without thinking the sky is falling. I think we'll turn it around. And I think it's, if you're at the point where the sky is falling, I think that's you've moved past context, but I think it's important to recognize how egregious, and I think that's a fair word, that performance was against Texas A&M. That's a bad thing. What's going on, Aubrey? Good to see you. We're here hanging out. Thanks for being here. Would love anybody else to utilize that call-in link that's not out there, or that is out there, not out there. If you're not out there, you can't utilize it. I know it's really hard to have hope in a lot in Auburn football right now. To me, it's the way I choose to live about it, and then maybe that's a fault of mine, but I'd much rather live that way than any other way. It's a very, in my opinion, miserable way to live. Not saying that you are, Devin, you're just being honest about how you're feeling, but there are a lot of people out there who, based on some of the way they handle themselves on social media stuff, they have way too much of their identity wrapped up in the performances of Auburn football, and you can tell. All right, listen. One more time this stream till the end. I want to remind you of our friends at barnersupply.com. Please, guys, do support them. They are a great Auburn company. Great gear. I'm wearing one of their hats tonight, as I always said. We've already showed you a bunch of things. Here's one of their koozies that they've got, actually 2 different sizes for all of your beverage styles out there. And these aren't just the only ones they have, but these are just some of the logos, some of the things they have. We've talked about the hat already with the classic Barn A. Yes, it needs the silos. We know, WT. Follow those links if you're watching on YouTube, or excuse me, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. When we're done here, just head on over there and visit them and make sure that you support them. I may drop that in here in the chat as well for you guys. All right, we got another caller already ready to go. So let's go ahead and say hello. Felix, what's going on,
What's going
sir?
on, buddy?
How you doing, buddy? I mean, I
I'm,
know how we're doing
I'm
as
trying to figure
fans,
out how to
but
get this off.
do what?
The what you call it?
Say that again. Sorry, I was talking over you.
The other sound. Did you not hear that?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, I hear it. But anyway, hey man, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself, man?
I'm really worried about the program. I'm
I
really
understand.
worried, really and truly.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's definitely very disconcerting when you watch what you watched. Here's the crazy thing, Felix, and we've touched on this. It's so frustrating to watch your team do so poorly, and yet a team just like not even purposely dangle a carrot out there and said, "It's right here, just take it from us," and we still couldn't take it from them. Like that was it's it's kind of like we said with Thomas earlier. It's the way you lost.
It's the way we lost the games.
Yep.
It's just the way we lost them, man.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt so bad. I mean, the both the games. I mean, hell, I really and truly feel like we had the OU game. And, I mean, we had it. I mean, and the Texas A&M game. Yeah, it looked ugly. Yes, it really did. I mean, and everything, and even but the penalties, the penalties, man, my God, the penalties.
Yeah,
It's just so
penalties.
frustrating. It's just so frustrating to watch, man. And the thing is it's just not. It's just not this year, man. It's just the
It's been
the
building.
overall of the last 7 or the 6, whatever it is, man. It's just over and over and every Saturday. I mean, you root for your team and you expect to, at least freaking go 8 and. I mean, damn, man. It's just.
I got you. Let me give you something happy about. How about that performance from Xavier Atkins this game?
Right. I mean, he was
Listen
a
to that
freaking
dude.
beast, right?
He, I'll be honest with you, Felix. People kept asking me during the offseason, like, who's somebody that we should be watching? And I think they're on defense or offense, whatever. And so when it was about the defense, I'd say, I just got to believe, even though it's like only a year of SEC experience, him transferring over from LSU, that means something to me. And I'm so glad that at least I feel that's been proven true, my belief in that, because he doesn't seem afraid of the moment. He is just amped up, ready to be there. He seems like he's flying all over the place. I mean, the dude's got fumble recoveries, interceptions. He nearly had a touchdown last game. So I know it's one minute thing in as you've been saying, the frustrations, but at least there's a little nugget of something for you to be excited about.
Oh no, for sure, man. I mean, no. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a lot of frustration, but it's just. I mean, I know the defense is just. I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, I love it. I really like DJ the way he's putting it together.
Mm-hmm.
People talk about the years he was with that other team. That I mean, to me, that's back in the past, man, where it should stay. And you can't help what happened back there. You can't move it. You can't do
Right.
anything about it. It is where it is, and it stays in the past. And I mean, and it hurts me whenever that reporter asked him whenever he first got here about that. That was. I mean, the way he looked at him, he was kind of. You could see the hurt in his eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
that man, really didn't. Come on, that you really think that man wanted something to happen on his watch?
I think it's important it is not your mistakes. It is how you respond to your mistakes. And that's a big mistake, whether it's because of being directly involved in that or just that happened while you're overseeing a program, which still reflects very poorly on you. It's important. People are so ready to just jump on somebody, and it kind of reflects to commentary right now what we're having about the team. That's why we always need to be measured in what we're talking about right now. It's important to remember it's not your mistakes. It's about how you respond to those mistakes. And so I agree with you. I do remember that reporter. I forget the individual's name. that when he first interview he had is trying to dig up his old history and stuff like that. And I agree. I think he's once again, it's like, I just can't get away from this stuff. And there's a part of that, like that's unfortunately the consequences of having that happen. That will follow you everywhere. But all you can do is put in the work, which he's doing, and continue to make sure that you don't allow, whether it's under your watch or whatever, don't allow that to be, don't let that define how you continue forward. There are what I've learned about this. Now I'll shut up, Felix, because this is your call. But
You good, man?
there's a lot of, I don't want to say this. There's a lot of people in the media that, I'm not calling about anybody specifically, that love to hold people's past against them. It is like lifeblood to them. And they'll write articles about why you shouldn't hire this person. And and that, I think there's a fair discussion to be had. But when you go to the level of not giving someone the opportunity to right those old wrongs, I think it's important to really kind of take a step back and check yourself. So, I know that was probably a little bit a different topic than we probably expected to get into tonight, but I'm glad you brought it up because I think that's important for people to recognize.
No, I mean, no, man. I mean, it's something that needs to be said. The man is trying to right his wrong, man. And I know we trying to probably go off topic, but the thing is the man is a great defensive coordinator. I mean, look what he's done to our defense. Yeah, the other one, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was pretty good as well. But not as I feel like DJ looks at the maybe I'm wrong about this or off of something, but he looks at the little things. I mean, and he tells his players, look, man, you're right, wrong, in the front and in the front. He's going to tell you something that you might not want to hear, but he's on top of it. I think he's a really, really good defensive coordinator, and I'm saying that I might not hear. I mean, we might not have good things about what I'm about to say, but I wish Hugh would step back. And I mean, I'm sorry if he would just step back, either be full time, with the offense coordinating, going into meetings and stuff like that. Because I think that's some of the things. If you're not going to be included in all the offensive, then you can't really and truly be with all. I mean, I don't know what day to day is. I'm not saying that I know anything, but I'm just saying that if he's not included in the practice, I mean, not just the practice, but the classes and everything else, then he's dare I say half-assing. I'm sorry, but
Well, I think, let me see if I can put together what you're saying here. You want him to focus solely on the offense rather than the full responsibilities of a head coach, is what you're saying. Is that, am I
well, I mean, and you can't do that though, Kyle.
Right.
You really can't do that.
But what you're suggesting is that you feel that he maybe needs to spend a little bit more time focusing on that. I know you can't, right? Like, but because things are so bad, that needs to be the biggest priority. Is that more so on the what you're trying to say?
That's where I'm in New England. Yeah, I mean, yes, sir, I am. But I mean, like I said, man, either hire somebody for that particular, and I know he's hired somebody, but either let them do it or be a head coach. I mean, it just feels like it. I don't know, man. Maybe it feels like to me he's not there, either, because I mean that fourth and one or that third and one, okay, right there at the Texas game, you could have ran the damn ball. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just frustrating.
Listen, I think honestly, if they had just run the ball a little bit more, everybody would be a little bit calmer this week. Let's be honest about that. You have like about double-digit runs. It's funny to think about it in hindsight, but you just wonder what the difference would be if it was like 12 runs as opposed to 8 runs. I know that's not that big a difference, but you just wonder how things would be a little bit different this week. Now, I hear you, and let me reassure you on this. He's very openly talked about this in press conferences. I'm putting words in his mouth here, so please understand there may be some nuance missing in this. But basically, he's openly talked about that he lets DJ run that defense. I mean, he obviously checks in with them and wants to be the CEO over that and give his opinions and things like that. But his focus is, I'd say 95% of the time on that offense. And so, yeah, I mean, whether it's he needs to directly be making some more calls or he needs to just let someone do it and step back, they're evaluating that right now. And we're going to find out whether whatever they decide over these next 2 weeks is a very defining next 2 weeks, I think.
I tell you, man, I mean, we're in the thick of things right now, and we knew, and the thing is, we knew that going into this stretch, these 3 games right here, either we're going to lose all 3, or we're going to try to get at least 1 out of it. I mean, and everybody knew this before this even got here, and we all agreed that, hey, man, we might not get but 1 out of here, and I was praying that it would be the Texas game, to be honest with you,
And there
because
it was.
I didn't. Yeah, and I didn't think, be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to get the Oklahoma game. I didn't even think we were going to be that close to it. But the Texas game, I really thought we had a chance.
Yeah.
But this Georgia game, man, I mean, they had our number for forever and a day, and that's what really hurts me the most. Because I can see us going, I hate to say this, but 3-3 coming out of this thing, man. And if we do, come on, man. It looks bleak. I mean, I know we can probably, Mercer.
I think it's important to remember, though, I kind of like what Tom, I don't know if you were watching what Tom decides. You can lose the Georgia game, but you got to look real good doing it. Like, it's got to be one of those things like the offense did what it needed to do. If a loss is what happens, I think this is the best case scenario. The offense, gets us the lead, and it comes down to the defense, and it's just one of those things where they hold, but they just, I don't know what Georgia's kicker's like this year, but they make a field goal to win. You really can't, because if you hold them back to like a 45 to 50 yard field goal and they just make it, you just got to tip a cap at this point and go, hey man, listen, you got our number still.
Sure.
So that's probably, in a loss scenario, the best case scenario is that the offense looked outstanding, gave the defense the lead, and the defense did mostly what they needed to do, but they just made a great play at the end.
Like I said, it was just the losses, man. It was just the way we did it. This is just the way we did it. And we was in there. We was in the games, man. It was just the way it happened. And I guess that's just what hurts the most. That's just all. That's all I'm trying to say, man.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate you sharing how you feel about it. That's what we're here for about this. So it's what we're here on Auburn Family Live. We want to talk to the people and hear what they're thinking through. And I appreciate you taking the time to just spend some time articulating that and, be thoughtful about it. I do appreciate that.
I don't know, man. I wasn't there. I know how you feel about being kind of ornery about things, man. But yeah,
don't get me wrong. I'm ornery about what I saw. I think that's lost on people sometimes, just because I may have a little bit of a let's wait and see approach. Don't get it twisted. Kyle was upset. During that game. Kyle was saying some things in that living room. Kyle was getting his yelling out before he started the thing, But so don't ever assume. I say some things, man. It happens. So if you've ever watched a game with me, you'll know.
Believe me, man. I'm with you because I try to be away from the grandkids and all that, man.
Yeah.
Papa has to kind of like ventilate a little bit and go outside.
I got you.
Walk outside. But anyway, yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you letting me talk with you, man, for a minute, man. Well, anyway, I appreciate Kyle, and I will see you next time, my brother.
All right, man. Thank you so much for calling in tonight.
Yep, War Eagle.
All right, some great callers this evening. We're going to shut down the phone lines right now, though. It is right past our time. We got some questions that we need to get to round out our time, and I'm going to do that here. Can we just talk about this? Well played. Can we just all give Aubrey just a well played? What hurts the most was being so close and having so much to say and watching. Oh, my God. That's so good. Well played, Aubrey. All right, I'll get back to your comments and questions here. Reminders here at the end of the show. We're here every Wednesday night unless something happens. I don't have any plans for that for the foreseeable future. Auburn Family Nights every Wednesday night at 9 Eastern time. Keep joining us here. But your next scheduled live stream for this week, it is bye week. Keep in mind the Auburn Experience, episode 145 next Sunday. So join us for that. We're going to dive into those SEC schedules for the next 4 years, since it was too packed to talk about it this week. I would imagine we'll have some further discussion about what we think needs to happen or should have happened in the bye week, all that kind of stuff, and anything else in the Auburn Experience that we need to talk about. So join us for the Auburn Experience at 9 Eastern time on YouTube. All kinds of content. We're kind of catching up on a bunch of things. If you checked out the YouTube channel, I'm putting a lot of the more extended videos I took for my trip I just wasn't able to get to, like the homecoming court video. I'm about to put out the alumni band performance with the band from with the current band. I think I said that from 2 weeks ago. So there's a couple things we're catching up on, and we're kind of getting finally settled into the routine of things this week. But we appreciate you guys being here and always checking out our content. Felix, as always, thank you. Tip of the cap to you for calling in. I love getting to step back for a second and hear y'all's perspectives. I think this is where I'm probably going to skip over a few of those things here, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't miss too much of it here. I'm trying to find where I left off. Let me just go back down here. We got a lot of comments tonight, so that's a good thing here. One of the things Jay said, what's ironic is this time last year we were begging Freeze to call the plays. Now we're saying it's a very typical fan thing, and I'm not saying it's not necessarily something to talk about, but we are very fickle at times, or we have a tendency to be. What else here? This is from Devin. Apparently the media was not allowed at practice this week. Well, there were no, what I will confirm to you, Devin, is what I saw on the media. It's like a call list. There were no available times. I'm assuming that means nobody else knew of anything else, but I obviously live out of town, so I don't get to go to those just because of distance. But I wouldn't, frankly, I wouldn't look at it as and I know you maybe didn't mean it this way, but it's not allowed thing. I don't think this is too much different than a typical bye week, but to be frank, I'm okay with that because I think they need to shut the doors. Everybody figure this thing out together. Shut the doors, draw the, well, that sounds bad, but anyway. Let's see here. A couple of more comments I'm trying to figure out. Is Kyle like Lemon? The game is on. No one's talking to me during the game. Oh no, I'll talk during the game, but it's, I'll get a little bit ornery sometimes. Will we have the Auburn Experience, or does Austin need more time to get over his UTI? That's so bad. No, he actually sounded pretty bad on Sunday. He was really trying to fight through that. And I could tell he didn't want, I kept giving him the option. You tell me what you can do. And he was like, I don't know if I can do it. So we had to make the switch. But anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being part of our little family within the Auburn family. We really do appreciate it. Just remember, the Auburn Experience is much bigger than Auburn football, much bigger than Auburn sports, much bigger than anything that you can think of. And if you'll take the time to invest in all of it, I promise you, days in times like these don't hit you kinda as bad. They still hit you, but not as bad. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. And I want to leave you with this. The Auburn Creed asks you to do these things. Do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. War Eagle.